Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today is day 88, so that puts me 3 months and with my mileage at 59,375, just over 1,800 miles into my ownership so far. In recent videos there's been a fair few comments from people also considering a similar move to me, considering a 987 Cayman. And in today's video, to help any prospective 987 Cayman purchasers, I'm going to answer part one of a two-part question. It's a question I looked for answers to myself when I was considering buying this car. And despite searching, I couldn't find a definitive answer anywhere. So here we are. And what is that question? Do you need PASM? Do you need the Porsche Active Suspension Management option? If you're looking to buy a 987 Cayman, should you hold out for one? Should you prioritise it as a must-have option? This, I think, will be useful to know because cars that have PASM fitted are rare and far between. So if you do insist on it, you will be cutting your potential supply of cars right down. They will be harder to find. At the time of filming, well, last night actually, there were 43 987 Caymans, manual, registered up to and including 2008 on Auto Trader within the UK. Of those, only 4 had PASM fitted. So I'm sure you can do the maths, but not many have it fitted at all. So now we've established its scarcity. What exactly is PASM? What is Porsche's Active Suspension Management? Why are there two parts to this question, and why am I only answering part one in this video? With PASM equipped, the 987 Cayman rides 10mm lower than a standard passively damped car. Body movement is continuously monitored for lateral acceleration, and that along with information collected from sensors on steering angle, brake pressure and engine torque is all fed into a control unit that provides real-time damper adjustment according to one of 2 damper modes, normal or sport. And the reason there are 2 parts to this question is because so far I can only comment how it feels when driving on the road. And what that's taught me very quickly indeed is that to really understand PASM, I need to drive this thing on track. Now that will happen soon enough. In 4 weeks I've got my first Goodwood Auto Solo of this year. A couple of weeks after that I'm on track at Bedford, and then a few weeks after that I'll be competing in the second of Goodwood's Auto Solos this year. Not this time, sunshine. After I've finished all that track work, I will be back to answer how it feels on track with some lap time and corner speed analysis. So until then, I can only answer part one, which is how does this feel and behave on the road. So here follows a brief car history, which will put my thoughts on the Cayman's damping control into context here. Now, both of my previous cars had switchable dampers. In May 2017, I bought Ford's Mark III Focus RS, in which I did 19,000 miles. And then in October 2018, I bought BMW's M140i, in which I did 25,000 miles. In the Focus RS, just like in this Cayman, the dampers were independently and separately switchable using a button on the end of the indicator stalk. Whereas in the BMW, you could only get to them by way of switching the driving mode using the button down by the gear shift. And that came with heavier steering, which wasn't the best feeling in the world. Regardless, I'm quite familiar with cars that have 2 damping setups, that have 2 different driving characters. And here's how, in my experience, they all feel and compare on the road, with the assistance of, as is customary, a nice chart. So on a relative scale of 1 to 10, I'll start with the BMW. In its softer setting, it was very plush, like normal everyday car plush. Kids could easily fall asleep in the back. It was very, very comfortable. In sport mode, there was a noticeable change. Definitely got firmer, more fidgety, but it was still usable day to day. On the Focus, the RS's standard softer setting was at least as hard as the BMW's firm mode, maybe even a bit firmer. It was fine day to day, but you knew it was set up with some purpose. The harder track setting took it to another level entirely. Very firm, usable on the road for short periods only, but on track it really helped the car control its hefty 1600 kilogram body weight. And lastly, my Cayman. Now in normal, it's very comfortable, almost like the BMW. It is firmer, but it has a great, direct and responsive feel to it. The body is so well damped and controlled. Then there's sport, and to that, just laugh out loud. It makes the RS seem like a limousine. It is ridiculously hard. It's almost as if you have no springs or dampers at all. This is why I said I need to get it on track to really appreciate it, because clearly PASM in sport mode is not designed for use on the roads, not UK roads anyway. To sum up then, if you only intend on using your 987 Cayman on the road, or if you intend on changing your springs and dampers because, hey, what do Porsche engineers know, then I would say don't bother. You really don't need PASM. It turns the car into a true Jekyll and Hyde, and the Hyde version of the Cayman, on the road at least, is not a very pleasant place to be. On track though, I'm expecting quite good things from it. We'll see. Let me give this car a solid kicking over the next few weeks, and I will report back. And speaking of that track use, research on the internet suggests my car's going to fall apart when I take it on track. I'm going to overwhelm the brakes because, hey, standard pads, disc, fluid and lines. I'm going to get oil surge from the dry sump lubrication system. I'm going to melt the power steering fluid reservoir and boil the fluid. I'm going to lose all of my coolant from the 13-year-old hoses letting go. And I'm going to break my shift cable mechanism. So if you'd like to see which of those things happen to this car in my hands, then please remember to subscribe and don't forget to hit that all-important bell notification icon so you don't miss an upload. Give this one a thumbs up if you found it useful. Please comment below, and thank you very much for watching.